Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Paladin webinar. Today we're going to be talking about a new feature that we came out with. We're pretty excited about it, how to round up for charity without having to do any math or spending a bunch of excessive time, work, and effort at the checkout process. Something we're kind of cool is this kind of encourages giving back to the community a little bit and what we can do for our fellow man, and we really like features like that. So without further ado, let's get started. To those who don't know me, my name is Chad Klein. I'm an account manager here at Paladin and will be your presenter for the day. Okay, so a few little agenda items here. I want to go over the goals and purpose of what this new feature is, what it looks like at the checkout experience, the pop-up window that comes up and how to deal with that, how to handle it, how to set this up and activate it. We have some pre-existing charities built in there, so I want to show you guys how to add that. We have some new charities. You have the option of adding new charities if the charity that you would like to donate to is not one of the pre-existing ones. You can activate more than one charity. We're going to talk about how to do that. And then, of course, the receipt's going to print out a little thank you note, and I'll show you guys that as well. Should be pretty quick, pretty simple, not too difficult here. Just fun and cool. Okay, so the goal and purpose of this feature is to encourage giving and giving back to the community. So much we kind of get focused on the bottom line in business and forget that we're one little cog in a much larger machine that is the community, town, state, country that we live in. And so it's really nice to kind of plug into those other cogs and be a part of them as opposed to just thinking about that margin and how to get more money. So the customer participation is quick and easy. We tried to make this as simple as possible so you're not having to get out the calculator, do a bunch of math. We find any additional steps in order to get people to do it is only going to get people to not do it, right? If it's going to be complicated, they're not going to do it. If it's going to take extra time, they're not going to do it because, well, that's just kind of the way people are. But you're going to get a little additional boon in that you can show your customers that you have a concern for charitable causes, and that's going to go a long way in building some loyalty in their minds, hopefully. Now, at the checkout experience, this is a voluntary thing. It's not going to pop up in your face constantly. At the end of every transaction, the cashier is prompted to ask the customer, but it's not required to do so. So if you know, like, man, this guy is not going to donate anything, you know, he's not a very happy customer, maybe you don't ask. You don't have to ask. It's just an optional feature that'll pop up in your face. You can turn it on, turn it off. Customer can say yes or no. You can add more charity options, and then that receipt is including the thank you note. Okay, so this is what it looks like. In the background there, you can see that we're at the checkout screen, ringing something up for $24.27. And Paladin after this says, hey, would you like to round up for charity? 73 cents, of course, would push this to a sale of $25. We can see we've got the Smithville Fire Department, the American National Red Cross, and a few other options as well. So it's pretty dynamic in how many that you can put up there. If you're trying to have multiple organizations to donate to, you certainly can accommodate that. It's easy to skip. You can go ahead and just click the skip button down at the bottom, or you can just hit donate, which will, of course, apply that 73 cents to the total, rounding that up to $25. Also, you can hit the cancel button, or the escape button. The escape button is essentially the same thing as hitting the cancel button, and that's true for every Paladin window. If you're ever in Paladin, you need to go backwards a step. The escape button will take you backwards a step. Okay, so how do we set this up? To turn on the Roundup for Charity feature, follow these steps. In the File menu, it's the upper left-hand corner of Paladin. You want to click that little File button, and then Setup will appear underneath that. Click on the Setup. That'll bring you into the Paladin configuration window. You'll notice a new tab in there called Charity. It gets its own tab, and it's called Charity. Click on that Charity tab, and that'll bring you to the Charity Options pane, where you can select Enable Roundup for Charity tab. That's that little checkbox that will turn on that window popping up at the end of every invoice. If you're like, man, we hate that window, we don't want that to happen, why is this happening? This is how to turn it off. You can go in there and check that little checkbox. It will no longer come up. Then, of course, select Save. Right there, also in there, you'll be able to add the predefined charities from the Charity Choices list. The predefined ones that we have in there, the American National Red Cross, and then the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, both ginormous organizations. I'm sure that everyone has heard of those. So those are the two that we kind of put in there. We also have logos for each one of those organizations as well loaded up into there. To add a pre-defined charity, you go into the charities pane, click New, and then you'll see the little drop down. Select that drop down and select one of the two predefined charities and hit save. You cannot make changes to the logo, as we've already loaded these organizations' respective logos up there, and they don't want anyone changing their logos, of course. Okay, this is how to add a new charity. If you'd like to add, the Smithville Fire Department or the local Awanas Club or the local Boys and Girls Club or something, you can go into the same spot, File Setup, into the Charity tab, and the Charities pane. Click New, the charity box, enter the charity's name. Now you can optionally upload a logo if you like. These logos need to either be in a PNG, BMP, GIF, TIF, or JPEG. JPEG is not supported, excuse me. But when you're going, if you don't know how to do this, you're like, man, my photo is a JPEG. Go to Save As. You're saving it as a different file. Click Save, Save As. Then on the bottom, when you save it, it'll be, save as file type. And JPEG, the type that it is already, will be auto-selected. There's a little drop-down menu that you can select, and you'll see, PNG, BMP, all those other options in there. Select one of those. I would recommend PNG. Save it as a PNG file. Now it'll go ahead and work. If you do not upload a logo, the default image will be a heart. We figured hearts for charity, it seems like it makes sense to us. So once you've gone ahead and added the charity, uploaded your logo, if you'd like, you go ahead and click Save. Now, if you want to activate more than one charity, you have to set the number of charity options that will appear. And how you do that is in the Charity Options pane, the number of active charities list, select the number between 1 and 4. You can have up to 4, but no more. We just didn't have any more space on that little pop-up window that pops up. But hopefully that's enough for you. Now you can go ahead and select the number of active charities that you have and click Save. Now I have a little picture here to show you a little bit more. There we go. Cool, so a charity will appear in the Roundup for Charity window at checkout when it is an active charity position in the charities list. The number of active charities value determines the number of active charity positions. So if you had 2, you have 2 active positions. The top 2 are the active ones. And then you can move the charities up or down on this list, moving them into an active or inactive position, depending on the number of charities that you have activated at that time. Let me show you. So here's a list of a bunch of them. If we have 2 active charities, you can see those top 2 ones, the Smithville Fire Department and the American National Red Cross, are the active ones. If I were to select the Smithville High School Jazz Band Fund Drive and move it up 1, that would be moving American National Red Cross down into an inactive position and Smith High School Jazz Band Fund Drive, a mouthful, up into an active position. Or I could just change the number of active charities to 3. If I wanted to activate all 3 of those, then the top 3 would be active. Pretty simple. And then at the end of every transaction, when you have this feature enabled, it will print out and someone has rounded up for charity. They've said yes to that question. Then the receipt will print out a little message on there that says, thank you for rounding up your total for charity. And that's how the cookie crumbles. We've got some links to some resources here as always. You can see how to set it up, how to use it. If you want to look at the knowledge base articles, kind of more, if you're more a fan of the walkthrough, step by step, 1 through 10 sort of thing, than watching a video and following along this way, look to the knowledge base for that sort of thing. Also, guys, please keep an eye on the Feature Fixes Update browser window in Paladin. That's where you see about any of these new features coming down, any new fixes that's coming down, and where we advertise for our webinar. So keep an eye on those. You'll see, in a week or so, something come up that says, hey, click on this link in order to register for the next webinar. And remember, you guys are the reason that we keep doing this. So please keep joining us. We really appreciate your time, and I hope everyone has a great morning. See you next week, guys.